Hello and welcome to The Print. We have a special guest with us. We have Ritu Khanduri Bhushan, who is the first woman speaker of the Uttarakhand Assembly. Welcome to The Print, ma'am. Ma'am, a lot has been written about, and there's been a lot of discussion about the Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code, the bill. How do you see it as the Speaker of the Assembly as well as a woman? Its significance?
It is a significant bill, and I'm really pleased that it was taken up by a small state like Uttarakhand. Of course, kudos to the young Chief Minister that he decided that it is an important act or a bill which should come into the Assembly, and Prerna Srot, of course, was the Prime Minister, and I was very happy that it got passed in the Vidhan Sabha Uttarakhand. We are a small state, but it's a state where women have been empowered for the longest time. Of course, there have been certain aberrations over the past few years, but for passing of the UCC bill in Vidhan Sabha Uttarakhand, it shows that we want to do something for the women, we want to empower our women, we want to give them the rightful position that is theirs. So, I am pretty happy that as a woman also that this legislation was passed in Uttarakhand.
Ma'am, several Muslim organizations, including a number of them led by women, they feel that the Muslims are being targeted by this bill. At the same time, they feel this is not really about empowerment, it is more about sort of targeting them, and they feel that they will now have to live in fear as far as Uttarakhand is concerned.
See, you being a woman, and I'm sure educated women and women as such in this country need to understand one thing: whatever the religion, whatever the caste, whatever the whether you're a middle class woman or you're a rich class, upper class, the weakest link in the society is the woman. If there is a divorce, she has to face the brunt. If there are property rights which are not given to her, it is she who faces the brunt. Even in today's 21st century, we have seen in towns and in villages, if the husband passes away and if there is no child in the family, the property straight away goes either to the brother-in-law or to the man in the household. Is that right? I don't think so. So, if she is being given property rights, I think she deserves it and she needs it and she should be given because it's her right. Secondly, there are certain religions which say that the minute you start menstruating, puberty, you attain puberty, you are ready to get married. Is that right in 21st century? Are we still living in dark ages? So, I think a girl who is 12 and who starts menstruating, jiske period shuru ho jate hain, I don't think we have any business in 21st century to say that now she is ready for marriage. We will have to let her educate herself, we will let her have to decide for what she wants. Divorce rights, adoption rights. Why is it that we 50% of this country is treated in a different manner? And more to say, if civil laws are similar in this country for everybody, for all the castes, for all the religions, for all the whether it's upper class, middle class, for all the classes, then why should the civil law not be the same? What are we trying to, why are we trying to say that religions are being targeted? I do not think so. This particular act or this particular bill is for the weakest link in the society, and that is woman. Anywhere. We also have been seeing stories where a person who makes these pants and shirts, that rich lady is moving from pillar to post because she does not get her property rights. So, this is something which is happening in all the classes, in all the religions, in all the castes. So, I think it is a brave decision, it is a good decision, it is a decision which should be taken in the 21st century India.
Well, you're saying that there is no form of interference as far as personal matters are concerned. And as I pointed out, a lot of Muslim men and women feel that this is the government's way of sort of interfering in their personal matters. Why otherwise have the tribal community kept out of the ambit of Uniform Civil Code? If it is for everyone, why keep them out?
See, there are certain numbers, there is a particular schedule in the constitution which gives them that right, and there are a certain number of people which they have their certain ethos, their certain practices which they follow, and there are reasons why they have been kept aside. Nothing to do with whether we want to give them or not give them the rights. There are certain reasons why they have been kept out because the Constitution says so.
Well, you mentioned that women are being empowered and they are being given the right to take decision, but at the same time, through registration, mandatory registration of live-in relationships, are we not interfering into their privacy, interfering into the privacy of young adults? And at the same time, is it not a way of entering people's bedroom by saying that if you are in a live-in relationship, why don't you register for it?
See, I again believe it is a protection of the girl. I again believe this because most of the time it is the woman which is left hanging. So I still believe for a young woman it is a law which is coming for the young woman. Moreover, if you are an 18-year-old and if you've decided to live in with somebody, you've taken that decision. So if you've taken that decision, then you should have the gumption to accept it and tell the world about it, be happy about it. There is nothing wrong in, I'm not saying whether live-in is right or wrong, but what I'm trying to tell you, if you are an 18-year-old, you've taken a decision which you think is right, then own it.
But a lot of people say it's not about owning up to it, but it is in a way allowing the vigilantes to sort of officially enter into our homes, because now people will say that, oh, you are in a live-in relationship, why don't you register? If you don't register, you will go to jail. Don't you think it's a bit extreme?
This is a very small percentage which you're talking, very, very minuscule percentage that you may be talking about. I have seen situations in villages. I have seen how young ladies, very, very young ladies, and then they have to face the brunt because they do not know what they are getting into. They do not know how and why they are getting into this kind of relationship, and when they do, and when they're left hanging or they're left, picking up the threads, it becomes an issue. So maybe you are talking of a very, very small percentage, very, very tiny, minuscule of people who think that way. I feel coming from Uttarakhand, where I have been empowered right from the 70s, it is nothing new for me to see empowered women in Uttarakhand. If you talk of Gaura Devi or if you talk of Tinchari Mai, who fought alcoholism, and we are talking of environment today, but in 70s Gaura Devi was talking about environment in the 70s. So I come from a very empowered state, and I feel I have travelled the villages of Uttarakhand in the last 7-8 years, and I have realized one thing, that we need to make our children aware, and maybe this is a way of making them aware of what how these situations can turn against them, or how it can create problems for them. So I am looking at a young girl from a village, जिसको हम हिंदी में क्या बरगला देते हैं लोग, उसको they can she doesn't know what she's getting into. So if she doesn't know what she's getting into, then she's getting fooled into, and then she's getting into relationships which she doesn't realize what she's getting into. So I think this act is more for those youngsters who really do not know what they are getting into, and if you know what you're getting into, then own it up.
But at the same time, the provisions of the bill also says that if you don't register your live-in relationship, you can be jailed. So don't you think that's a bit extreme?
See, we are not saying that this is the end of it. These are pointers, or these are certain points that we brought in, which are there for discussion. People should discuss it, and if there are certain things we need to change, we can change. This is not end of it. This is just the beginning. So in the I think right at the beginning, if you make it a little tough, maybe you can sit and have discussions, and and then decide what is right. So it is not the end of the act. It is not the end of the bill. You can have discussions. You can make amendments. You can make amendments. Yes.
But if one wants to register a relationship, the option of marriage is already there. So why sort of register live-in when you're the age of 18 or 21 and you want to enter into a relationship and make it official? The option of marriage is there.
See, there are a lot of things that are happening in smaller town societies, which maybe things do not come right up to Delhi. Love jihad, where youngsters are converting and then getting married and then leaving the girl high and dry. So there are a lot of other issues, and it is not that these things have not been discussed. The committee was set up. A lady justice was heading the committee, and she talked to lakhs of, at least 2.5 lakh of people. And it was only then that this act came about, and then it is after a lot of 13-hour discussion in the Vidhan Sabha. It is only after that that it was passed, and live-in relationship is just a part of it. There are many good things that have happened because of this. We have also looked after older people, the older generation, where if the son passes away, the wife decides to get married, or the daughter-in-law decides to get married. There are times when the old people are left, nobody there to look after them. So now we are doing many other things apart from live-in relationship in UCC. So UCC is not just about live-in relationship. It is many more things.
There are certain safeguards that have also been put up for Muslim women.
Yes, adoption rights for a Muslim woman, she's been given that. Of course, we also know about the divorce, which was like a sword hanging on women. Of course, that is with talaq, that is now over. But yes, women did not have the right to adopt children. So now she's been given that right, that she can adopt children if she wants to.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Earlier, as far as a Muslim woman was concerned, if she wanted to remarry the person whom she has taken divorce with, she had to marry someone else. So is that also something that is part of the bill?
Yes, that is also part of the bill. Polyandry, polygamy, both have been tackled in this.
Nikah halala.
Nikah halala also. Yes, all these things have been tackled, because after all, we are now in 21st century, and we are looking to empower the women. So we will have to look at her rights. We will have to see what is right for her and what is not right for her. And I think any sensible person looking at this nikah halala will understand how tough it is on the woman, how difficult it is for her. So I think overall UCC passed by Uttarakhand is a good bill, and hopefully it will soon be ratified and then become an act.
Some experts have also raised concern about the interfaith and intercaste couples, that they will become more vulnerable.
See, this is all politics. Let's not, everything should not be linked to politics. हर चीज़ वोट के लिए नहीं होती है, हर चीज़ पॉलिटिक्स नहीं होती है. यू आर ट्राइंग टू इम्प्रूव द सोसाइटी. समाज को सुधारने का भी प्रयास राजनीति है, और आई बिलीव दैट यूसीसी एक अच्छा प्रयास है. वी हैव ट्राइड टू bring out an act, bring out a bill which will help the society develop in a better way in the future. We are looking at in that sense, and I believe so that UCC is the need of the hour, not only for Uttarakhand but entire country.
So the opposition also says that there should have been greater consensus, by Pushkar Singh Dhami as far as UCC is concerned. Why was everyone not taken on board?
Everybody was taken on board. The committee was talking to various people for almost 2 years. All the political parties were asked to make comments or give suggestions. Almost 2.5 lakh people were concerned. They were talked. Things were discussed from various religions. So it is not that it was done in a haphazard way, or in a do it quickly kind of a thing. It took its time, it took its course, and I think after 2 years of discussion, 2 years of talking to various people from different sections of the society, it was only after that that the bill came to the Vidhan Sabha.
But who do you think should be given the credit for this?
I think we were all, I am sure the Chief Minister will also say, it was a decision which was taken by the Prime Minister, and then the young Chief Minister of Uttarakhand decided that yes, it is a law which should come from Uttarakhand. This is the first state that has decided to bring in UCC after independence. Goa is the only country, only state, and that too before independence se unka tha, so they had continued with it. So we become the first state, and coming from Deva Bhumi, I think it is really great that we were able to pass a bill which will hopefully soon come out in the country.
You just mentioned that how it is still awaiting the nod from the president. Why this delay, and what can we expect?
No, I'm sure they are talking. Each and every word has to be read. Each and every line has to be discussed. And I'm sure the president is seeing it, is looking into it, and it will soon be ratified.
Many have also called this as the testing ground for UCC to be sort of implemented across the country. What can we expect with Lok Sabha elections just around
I'm
the
sure
corner?
it is something which is needed. It is needed for the country. I believe so, because I have been talking about UCC for almost a year now. I was in Pune, I was with young students there, and I spoke about UCC. So I think it's the need of the hour, and if we need to improve our society, if we need to be a developed nation in 2047, this is going to be one of the strong pillars of that developed India.
Just one last question. I was actually talking to the VHP president Alok Kumar, who comes from the Sangh Parivar, and I had asked him about the Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code. While he said it is a good step, he said that his, he had actually recommended that live-in should not be, the registration of live-in should not be a component of the bill. And he pointed out that, he was not in favor of live-in relationship, and this is not how India should be moving. So what do you have to say about live-in relationship per se?
See, I am in the 21st century, we know this is a reality, and you have to accept reality. You cannot be pushing it under the carpet, and we should not. So if it is a reality in India where youngsters want to go and stay with each other before they get into a marriage, or if they just don't want to stay in a live-in relationship, we will have to accept it and then see how we can move forward with that. Of course, our Sanskriti and our beliefs and say something else completely, but you have to change with times. समाज बहता पानी है भाई, समाज बदल रहा है तो हमें भी समाज के साथ बदलना पड़ेगा. We will have to change with times. We cannot, we may like it, we may not like it, but we have to accept it. And if when you need to accept, if you start accepting some things, then you have to move forward with it.
Ma'am, one last question. You are the first woman speaker of Uttarakhand Assembly. How has the journey been so far?
It has been a very exciting journey. It has been a tough journey. It has been a learning journey for me. I'm a second time MLA and I'm an MLA from Kotdwar at the moment. So it has been it's a learning experience because it's a constitutional post where you have to be neutral,
right,
and you have to run a house, and you have 69 member of legislative assemblies. They come from various constituencies trying to speak their minds. So it's a tough job, but I'm enjoying my job.
Thank you so much for talking with The Print. This is Neelam Pandey reporting for The Print with Danishman in New Delhi.